We are back. New York City baseball, past, present, and future. It's a Metsy show, and I've got my buddy Mert with me. How are you, sir?
I am
Marty
fine.
Rose.
Little bit chilly in Jacksonville the last couple of days, but they're promising 70s soon. So.
Oh, nice.
Looking forward to that.
Now, when people think of Jacksonville, it's Florida.
It's Florida, but they don't understand.
Right. That's what I was
like
shocked.
300 miles from the south, what's considered South Florida. I mean, it's basically right below the Georgia border, you know. And,
right. Now, did you get any ill effects from the tornadoes that they had in Georgia?
No, we were a little bit lucky there. We had we had some thunderstorms, but we didn't have the severe weather that they had in Georgia. It was a little further to the north and the west, I believe. So
basically, every day is like an autumn day in New York, or spring.
At this time of year, pretty much. Although tonight they're saying it's even going to be in the 30s overnight here.
Oh, wow.
But which a little colder than usual. But they're promising 70s.
Now here's the key question from the Chamber of Commerce.
Mm-hmm.
Summers. You think Florida summers? You think, oy.
Yeah, it's hot. It's hot in the summer.
As hot as southern Florida?
Well, last summer was my first summer here, and it was a lot of 90s. Yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah, that's part of it all. And,
yes, it is.
But nice in the evenings, of course.
Oh yeah, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, beautiful evenings.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. We have two guests coming. I'm not going to ruin it. They haven't checked in yet. We're going to talk, you and I, a little Metsy. We got 60 days.
Yeah, we got, 2 weeks till pitchers and catchers.
Right, 60 days till opening day.
So things are heating up a little bit. I think they were talking today about the possibility of signing that left-handed pitcher that got away from us after last season. The relief pitcher that played out his. I think he's a free agent actually.
Blevins? Are you talking Blevins?
Yeah, Blevins.
Blevins was doing really well 2 years ago, and he got hit in the arm and broke his arm. And if they get Blevins back, that's a biggie. Romo was out there, a former Giant free agent, who had a good second half.
He's a right-hander, isn't he?
He's a right-hander. Obviously, you'd go for Blevins. That would be a coup. It's amazing that there are.
Well, I think
several.
If they, since we're getting so close to the reporting date, I think that if they can get him down to 2 years, I think he's asking for 3. If they can get him down to 2 years, then I think they have a shot of landing him. So
right,
we'll see.
If they get Mets to come up to the, right. So if they could get Blevins down, right. Is there a possibility of getting the Mets to go for 3? Do you think?
I doubt it. I really don't think so. The left-handers they have, Edgin and Smoker. Edgin does nothing for me personally. Smoker, we haven't seen that much of him. He only made last year was his first time up. He showed some signs, but I don't know if I would trust him in key situations.
Okay, let's get to a very convoluted situation that the Mets have. And I think that the real issue is first of all, they can't get rid of Bruce, and it looks like they're at least going to spring training with an outfield that is Granderson in center. You got Cespedes in left. You got Bruce in right. And the big elephant in the room is a very, very young man with showed an awful lot his first year. Had a they don't ever refer to it anymore as sophomore jinx. But that's just what Conforto went through. And what do you do? Do you send them back for more seasoning?
I think he's got to play every day.
Right, somewhere.
Well, yeah. So, if it's what you say, and I think it is, then he's got to go down to Vegas. I mean, they told Bruce he's going to, unless something happens between now and opening day, where they actually can move him, Bruce. But I doubt it. And you still got Lagares out there who can play against left-handers, and when they can sit either Granderson or Bruce.
For Granderson, come in, play a little D, maybe move Granderson over, because Bruce is really kind of one-dimensional.
Yeah, he's adequate at best in the outfield.
Yeah, in the outfield, at best, right. Yeah. Now, with both Bruce and Conforto, if I were trying to balance a team, I would at least consider making one of those guys a first baseman, or at least, if not permanent, at least getting them to the point. Couldn't they, instructional league, you bring in Keith Hernandez?
They could, but
whatever
I mean,
takes.
If Dude is healthy, he is superior defensively, over any of these guys that you're going to move there from the outfield or someplace else.
It would take a while, but that's a very good point.
Especially if Wright's playing third base with that scatter arm of his. I mean, I would stick with Duda, for now, as long as he's healthy. I mean, we got guys. You got three guys on the infield that has back trouble. It's unbelievable.
Right. And a pitching staff that somebody asked on Facebook, do you think they'll be injury prone like they were last year? You can't predict that, but just by laws of probability, they can go through the amount of injuries in their pitching staff as they did last year. Last year was an absolute mash. It was
so. Well, Matt seems to be injury prone also.
That's true.
For the time he's been up, he's been hurt. He's been hurt both years, right? So at least.
And what really disturbed me, I think DeGrom is still experiencing. He didn't get it operated on. Shoulder, misplacement of what does he have going? My mind is
DeGrom. I don't know if they've ever said. Didn't they just say he had a tired arm? I don't know what's a tired arm. I don't know exactly what that is.
Kid's 25 years old and he's got a tired arm. And that all of that comes from what I want to ask Joe Youngblood, what we've been talking about for the last year, is it's not just the Mets with pitching injuries. Is it just overuse, like you say? Should they be going to six-man rotation? And how will that affect the sharpness?
Well, the argument against it is that your best guys will be pitching less. unless you skip the sixth guy every once in a while. Let's say you want to have Syndergaard out there every 5 days, no matter what.
Right. But you'd also want to have DeGrom out there 5 days, no matter what, all things considered. You also want to see what it is you have with Harvey.
Yeah.
So you're not going to, if he's healthy, anybody healthy, it's hard to justify this, unless your sixth man is, maybe a Zach Wheeler coming back and surprising after all this time.
Seems to me that I don't think he's going to be in the rotation. I got a feeling they're going to start him off in the bullpen.
Yeah, but if they went to the sixth man, that would be the natural, I would think.
It would. Unless you put Gazelman and Lugo in there, those guys who were really good
those guys
in the last year.
Terrific years, given everything. They made the big jump, and that was a big help. So, all things considered, they seem very, very deep and talented with what every team has in the back of their minds, the big question mark about injuries. And
and I'm sorry, but the catching is just not adequate.
No, and I'm really concerned, not so much concerned as I was last year about Wright, because they went out and got Reyes, and that was a godsend, and it was a terrific move. And he will be playing. And I think Flores, like you said, I thought about that last week. Flores should be playing once a week, 5 times a week at different positions, 4 or 5 times a week, just filling in. So that should keep him fresh. Reyes, if Wright fails, could play full-time third base and not hurt him. It would be nice to have the luxury of having Cabrera have a little more time off. He played a lot of games last year, even though he was hurt.
He had a terrific year, and I don't know if I mentioned it, but I just don't think he can duplicate that.
I don't think so either. Right.
I really don't think so.
Yeah, very good point. In the back of everybody's mind, if push comes to shove and say Cabrera shows his age in a hurry, you got one of the number one prospects in baseball, and that's Rosario in the minors, the best shortstop, and they have 2 or 3 others.
Yeah, but isn't he pretty far down in the? Was he in Class A, or is he in Double A? I don't know.
No, I think he's coming along. I think if he's in Double A, and if he was in Double A, we shouldn't be shocked if he does progress maybe by September to the bigs. So he can help them. It's nice to have a Cabrera, even if he's not going to duplicate last year. He's going to be pretty solid if he stays healthy.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to rush the kid. I don't think they're going to rush him. I think as long as they have Reyes, if anything happens to Cabrera, they'll put Reyes at short, and then they got Flores who could play third if Wright's not right either. If he's still shaky. So.
That's true. That's true.
I don't think they're going to rush the kid.
What do you expect? You don't have a crystal ball any more than I do, but what's your gut feeling on Wright?
Oh, man. Well, he's going to be, 34 now? It's,
right.
Even if you're healthy, 34 is 34 for baseball. It's getting to, pretty much the end. but he claims to be healthy. The neck seems to be fine, but he still has that back condition. That's something he's going to have forever. So, he's got to do all those exercises to get ready to play.
And that was before the neck thing.
Yeah. So, look, I mean, who knows? It's anybody's. It's a guessing game, really. I mean, I think if he plays, if he plays 80 games, like half the season, I think that would be amazing in itself, considering he's only played no more than 30 games in the last 2 years.
Right. So, exactly.
So I'm not expecting that much.
I'm going to give it away. He's late, but our guest, if he comes or if something came up, because I talked to him today, is former Met Joel Youngblood, who was nice enough to give me an interview, me and Timmy Haller, on the Giant Show that I do on the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network, the one we're on. And he's a coach with Arizona, and he's inordinately articulate. And I loved him with the Mets. I loved him with the Giants. As you know, Mert, I'm a die-hard Met fan. We were both originals back in 61 before they actually played. We were fans of them when they were first formed. And but I was a Giant fan growing up and living out the bulk of my life out in California. I'm a Giant apologist, and I like it when they're doing well for the most part, except when they're playing the Mets. And I enjoyed Joel as a Giant. He was on the '87 team that was a very exciting team that ended up losing to St. Louis. But
he played 83 and 84. He played. Looks like he was pretty much a regular with the Giants in those years.
Right.
But
and
the Met years,
solid,
man, he played on the Mets when they were horrible.
I know, but when we were joking about that today, he and I really enjoyed watching those guys that they got. They got 4 guys who were very, very decent, but given it was Seaver going for them, they were under an incredible amount of pressure. Excuse me, Zachary especially, was very talented, never came into his own.
Dan Norman never panned out.
No, but Henderson did, and Doug Flynn was a solid guy. He was. Second, could play short, and it was an interesting. I call those years the Bruce Beauclair years.
You call him the Joe Torre years also.
I know.
I like the line, Joe Torre managed the Mets before he became a genius.
Right. Which
they won 60-something games.
About Casey.
And they lost 90-something games. All those years. Unbelievable.
Oh, boy. And if it weren't for Don Zimmer as the bench coach, they wouldn't have won as many games as they won. But Torrey was a guy you couldn't help rooting for.
Yeah.
Brooklyn guy, all through his career, came up with the Braves, played with his older brother Frank Torrey, which was a story in itself.
Right.
It was just, and the Mets weren't the only team he managed with very little success. Let's put it that way. He managed the Cardinals before the Yankees. He managed the Braves before the Yankees.
Right, that's
and the Mets. All 3 teams that he played for which I found to be incredibly interesting. If you, I'm sure that's never been done before. And when he came to the Yankees, what was the headline in the paper?
Clueless Joe.
Clueless Joe.
Yeah.
That's right. Mert, you used to save the back pages, the whole paper of all the events, walking on the frickin' moon, whatever it was.
Yeah.
What became? I've thought about this an awful lot over the years. Never asked you, what became of that stack of papers?
I think when we left Staten Island, I think I just got rid of all that stuff because you can't take everything with you when you move, especially when you're going a long distance. And we filled an entire dumpster from stuff in the attic, in the basement, and
right. How long were you in the house?
We got rid of a lot of stuff. But it's too
How long were
bad.
you in that house in Staten Island?
Well, that house we were in for 20 years, and the one before it we were in 11 years. So I was on Staten Island for a total of about 32 years, something like that. 2 different houses.
Wow. So, well, it's close. You lived in Queens more than in Staten Island.
Yeah, it was pretty close, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, we were talking about my uncle's magazine. Remember you had mentioned that?
I think I might be able to put my finger on that magazine.
I spoke to my brother about that. And,
yes.
It was Sport World.
Sport World
was the name of it. And the
Sport
story
World,
goes,
right?
Sport World. And
yes.
the story goes that my uncle, Marty Rose, and a colleague of his named Jack Hand, who was a big AP baseball writer in the 50s, maybe even the 40s, they put that magazine out,
right?
And the two of them, I don't know if you ever knew this or not, the two of them wrote every article in the magazine, and under different names. Every name, they just made names up for bylines, and the two of them wrote the whole magazine.
Mert, I'm holding that magazine in my hand right now.
Are you really?
I am holding that magazine. I found it. Sport World, July of 1962. Editor Peter R. Ellis. Contributing editors Jack Hand and Murray Rose.
There you go.
Art director is Louis Queralt. Queralt. I'm butchering that.
Well, I guess somebody had to do the pictures.
Queralt, I understand butchered names. Association art director John Cervasio, and it's here. Let me get to the editorial, and I'll just tell you that they cover. It was the greatest magazine that ever came out, because in those days, people don't know. First of all, for a long time, they were even playing 2 All-Star games a year. All the money went to the Players Association, or whatever it was, the union. This is pre-union stuff. So it went to benefit players. And there was an incredible rivalry between the National League and the American League. And it was just, it was an exhibition game, but it was a period in time where it was naturally post-Jackie Robinson. We had the best of talent, and the All-Star. It was such an honor to play on the All-Star team, and the games were played to win. And this magazine covers every All-Star game, gives line scores of every All-Star game, gives stories, as I look at it now, unbelievably well done. So your uncle is a hero for that reason. Again, we've talked about on these airs the comp tickets that you shared with me over the years growing up. We went everywhere, every sporting event, roller derby. We went to the Titans. We got these 40-yard line tickets to the Titans. There were 12 people around us.
Yeah.
It was 200 people in the maybe a couple of thousand in the stadium.
What was the Saturday nights? Saturday night games in the Polo Grounds. Yeah.
Yes. Freezing our asses off.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Hot chocolate. It was before I was a coffee drinker. And now it's after I'm a coffee drinker. But it's all gone. I don't drink coffee anymore.
Well, comp tickets are gone also, so, you know.
Oh, I'm sure. Yes.
They've been gone for a long time.
And garden tickets, I can remember sitting right down there. I mean, literally right there.
Yeah.
So,
we sat on the
my
chairs.
first memory of the garden was not with you, was not a comp ticket. It was when we were sitting in general.
I know what you're going to say.
Seats.
Was it a triple overtime game or something?
The triple overtime game with Willie Knowles getting a rebound against Wilt. Wilt's rookie year, and we're like under 60, under 12, 13, 14, something like that. Enough that we could travel, we can go out at night, but wow, you better be home at a certain hour. You know, you just
when you think about it, it's amazing. At that time, at the age that we were allowed to go by ourselves, like to the Polo Grounds on a Saturday night on the subway.
To take the bus from Jackson Heights into Flushing. At that time, what separated Jackson Heights and Flushing on Northern Boulevard was a real pretty bad neighborhood at that time, a pretty dangerous neighborhood for kids. Our parents, we went to the Y on Saturday mornings on that Q66 bus when we were 10 years old. I remember having a Minneapolis Giant shirt on, or Minnesota Giant, Minneapolis Giants, when the Giants were a T-shirt were a cinch to move to before O'Malley came along and brought Stone to the West Coast. So, and that was 1956 when we were 10 years old, and we went to the Y. And remember,
we did.
No swim, no gym.
Yeah.
Or was it the opposite?
I remember those days. Yeah.
And we went all over, though, all over Queens. We went to bowling alleys and stuff. And then later on, we started taking our bikes. And we rode down the wrong side of the road. Now they tell you have to ride with the traffic. I remember riding against the traffic when we went.
Right.
But,
we did.
And out to LaGuardia, and
I think we rode to Flushing one time on Roosevelt Avenue.
Right. That was, we were very young. And do you remember when we were so young, Mert, and we were pretty shy kids, polite kids, and kind of intimidated by the world a little bit. And we went up to the Good Humor Man to ask what time it was. And the Good Humor Man, you may not remember this, but it sticks in my head. He was this big guy, real big guy. And I almost didn't want to ask him, sir, can you tell me what time it is? He goes, oh, it's about 5:30 in this very high-pitched voice. Okay. I remember looking at you and smiling and laughing. Oh, it's about 12:30. Big old guy.
Oh boy.
Anyway, we'll talk in 2 weeks. How about that?
Okay.
We'll do another Met show in 2 weeks. By then, things will have shaped up in the bullpen.
Yeah, maybe so.
And I think something's going to happen. Are they pricing? Are they just bitter because they gave up Dilson Herrera? And because
no, I heard something today. I'm sorry. I heard something today that they thought that he had a shoulder injury, Dilson Herrera, and that the Reds didn't seem to care, or they never checked it out.
He had the shoulder injury with the Mets, and the Reds took him anyway, thinking he's going to.
Yeah. So.
Okay, well, I think the Mets took over the salary given that they took over the salary. So they didn't really give up, although I like Dilson Herrera, and he was a big part of a trade. I can't think who they gave up to get him. Was it R.A. Dickey or was it somebody?
I don't remember.
It was nice to have.
R.A. Dickey was the Syndergaard and the catcher, Darno and Syndergaard.
And I don't want Darno was a tremendous disappointment last year.
Yep.
You hit on it that they really need catching, and maybe they can make something work. They did sign Nick Hundley. I'm sorry, that was the Giants that signed Nick Hundley.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
I like their third string catcher. I think if Darno and Policki don't step up, Rivera just throws out guys. He's got a good arm and a little bit of pop. So
I like him too.
Yeah,
but
he ends up beating those guys out, and it'd be a step up as far as I'm concerned.
We'll see. They gave Darno a lot of, to me, way too much money. He was in an arbitration year, so they gave him $1.875 million. I mean, to me, that's absurd, honestly.
Right.
For Darno.
Hey, before we go, let me put an emphasis on the 62 All-Star game, and this is the pregame issue, but like I said, it goes back to the original All-Star game with great articles and terrific pictures of these guys. But here are the 3 pictures, the 8 pictures on the front cover, little pictures of guys that played in the 62 All-Star game, and give you an idea of the star power of these guys. All of them in their prime.
Yeah.
Mantle, Maris, Hayes, Warren Spahn, Rocky Colavito, and this is right after he was traded from Cleveland, Louis Aparicio and Maury Wills. And Frank Robinson, too, mentioned.
What about Hank Aaron? Yeah.
He wasn't on the cover.
Oh, no?
No.
Wow.
Those are the guys they picked to be on the cover. The articles they refer to Stan Musial, King of the All-Stars, all-time All-Star selections. Everybody that was ever chosen is between when they started the All-Star game, I think it was 39, if I'm not mistaken. I go back here till then. It was as good a magazine as I've ever read, and I kept it for like 62 to now.
Great.
The geezerhood. I think I've reached geezerhood.
Yeah.
Officially.
Right there with you. Yep.
Yeah, I'm happy, but you're the younger one. So,
yeah. 5 months. Right? Okay.
Yeah. Well, young enough. I've got, and I probably had time in ranking over you in the United States Air Force.
Well,
but did you make staff sergeant up at?
I did. I was E5 when I got out. Yeah.
Ah, wow.
They liked me. They wanted me to re-up. You know, I was running the flight records department at Westover, and but you know there was no chance in hell.
No. Sergeant Maldonado, was that the guy in Flushing? Recruiting sergeant?
I thought it was Palengayan. I think he was like a Filipino or something.
He was, okay. All right. Well, I don't remember the pronunciation that way, but then again, that was a long time ago, too. And I don't have a magazine of that in front of me.
No.
So, rest in peace, Marty Rose, and a whole bunch of other folk.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
See you later, Mert. Love you. You know
All right. See you next time. Have a good one.
Next time, 2 weeks from now. Next week will be a Yankee week, and after that, we're gonna try to go back to a weekly show, one for each team.
Once the season starts. Okay, we'll see. Very good.
Okay.
Have a good night. Have a good week.
You too. Best of Peg. Talk soon.
Yep. Same to Tally.
Everybody out there, thanks for listening to us. We love the Mets, and so do you. So keep that in mind. All right. Be back next week with the Yankees, and take care, everybody.